Kathy Kress again, and I am back with my Geriatric Care 1 channel, and I'm doing the playlist right now about long-distance care providers who are under a lot of stress. And I want to start here. The person who's filming this just asked me a question, and it's a good question. Should you leave your parent where they are, or should you move the parent? And the answer is different for every family. But most older people really do not want to move 3,000 miles away from everything they knew. I know my dad didn't. He had lived in the same community, Atlantic City, New Jersey, for 70 years. And would it be better to move them in your home? That's an answer only you can ask. There's a lot to that. But a geriatric care manager is really an excellent choice to keep, if you want to keep your parent in their community, to hire a geriatric care manager, let's say in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where I hired one from Jewish Family Services. They were excellent. And be able to keep them in the community and do everything that you would do. But you're only a preventative thing now. You're not the emergency contact. The geriatric care manager works under your direction, sets up a care plan that you approve of, but will make all the arrangements to keep the older person at home, keep them in the community. Like my dad was there for 70 years, all his friends were there, he knew the bus route, he never drove, he knew where the stores were, where he could shop, and when the older person gets old enough and debilitated enough to move to a higher level of care or remain at home, the geriatric care manager can do that. So we were talking about, what is the stress with a long-distance care provider? And a lot of it is job loss. And it has to do with your own job, because you are not only working full-time, but you're taking care of your immediate family, wherever you are, and then taking care of your adult parent who's long distance. That's a lot of stress. And what do people do with their jobs? They have difficulty with their jobs, because family caregivers, whether they live in the same town or 3,000 miles away, often have to leave early during the day to deal with a crisis, because long-distance care providers are always dealing with a crisis, because who are they going to call? They're going to call you. You're the adult child. So they're leaving early, they're getting to work late, because crises, have no time limit. They can happen at any time. Somebody can go in the emergency room, fall, in the shower, whatever. And lots of times, adult children have to drop out of their jobs in order to manage a long-distance family member, an elderly family member. So long-distance family members have a lot of problems at work. And what does your job mean? It means money to support all these airline tickets to fly to see your older parent. And many times we are substituting, us baby boomers, we are actually subsidizing the adult parents' needs. So you need your job, but at the same time, and what's the answer? A geriatric care manager who can be your surrogate with your parent, being able to handle all those tasks so that you don't have to go to work early, go to work late, lose time, and maybe quit your job. So what else does a geriatric care manager do for you? It answers overwhelm. It's during the holidays right now, and I am practically, and I want to tell you, I'm overwhelmed. I have grandchildren that I have to buy presents for. I have my adult children. I am, I don't need to go into this. Holidays just make you crazy. And I have to do this. This is, it's something I love, but it's my job. So I'm overwhelmed. Well, long-distance care providers are much more overwhelmed than any whining I could do here, because they are taking care of their teenage children, and teenage girls are very difficult. Everybody wants girls in the beginning. They're great babies, but when they get to be 10, oh my God. So you're taking care of your teenage children, you're taking care of, and you know, a mother never ends. I found that out. I have a 47-year-old daughter. I'm still the mother. I'm making dinner to take to her house tomorrow night to give her her holiday gifts because she works till 6 o'clock at night. And so, you know, what do moms do? And I'm going to see the daughter-in-law the next day, and same thing. I'm bringing the entire meal and the dessert. So, you know, you have all these responsibilities with your immediate family, and then you have the responsibility with your you know, aging parent that has a lot of crises, and that means you're overwhelmed. I had to brush my hair before I even did this because I hadn't even brushed my hair this morning. And what does all this overwhelm end up manifesting itself into? First of all, anxiety. And do you know what anxiety is? I'm not going to go into it, but it's like this. And depression. Long-distance care providers are they fall into the category of depression the same way their parents do. And it really physically affects your immune system. So it affects you mentally and physically to be in a long-distance care provider. And so what does the GCM do for the long-distance care provider? First of all, the GCM always has two clients, and one client is you, the long-distance care provider, and any care provider, and the second is the older person. So the GCM can actually do something called a caregiver assessment, and that's you. And a caregiver assessment means that you can look for symptoms that caregivers usually have that are long distance. And what are they? Sleep deprivation. Sleep disorders. I've had it from the time I was 35. It's terrible. You lose sleep over all this anxiety. Mental problems, and I talked about that. You're not crazy, you're just a long-distance care provider. Reduced employment, I talked about that in earlier sessions. Depression, I just talked about that. It's very depressing to have all these needs coming at you all at once. Your aging parent and everything else you have to do. Guilt, maybe sometimes you don't go. You just can't make it. Like last night there was a book group where we were going to exchange presents, and I could not go because actually I was overwhelmed, and it manifested itself in that I was ill. Mm-hmm. And guilt that, you know, you didn't go to the book group or you didn't go and take care of your parent. Anxiety, we talked about that, and physical problems and fatigue. So a geriatric care manager is a great choice for a long-distance care provider, and I'll end right here. Please go to my website, kathygress.com, and I will see you next time.